Hello, I'm Chris Corba, a member of the League of Women Voters of the Greater Dayton area, and I'm here today with candidates running for Oakwood City Council. The candidates are Sam Dorf, Sarena Kelley, and Leigh S. Turben. Welcome. We'll start our interviews by giving the candidates 1 minute to tell us about themselves and why they want to serve on the Oakwood Council. And we will start with Sam Dorf.
Thanks. Hello, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum. My name is Sam Dorf, and I'm honored to be a candidate for Oakwood City Council. I'm a husband, a dad of 2 kids in the Oakwood Public Schools, an educator, and a committed community leader. We moved to Oakwood 12 years ago, and we chose Oakwood because of its outstanding schools, walkability, beautiful green spaces, and safe communities. This summer, I've tried to make it a priority to attend almost every block party I can, not just to celebrate and enjoy seltzer with my neighbors, but to listen and learn directly from residents about what matters most to them, where they are, which is their front yards. These conversations have reaffirmed my belief that Oakwood's greatest strength is our people, their ideas, their concerns, and their commitment to our community. My priorities are threefold: to strengthen our local business community, because a thriving business district means a thriving Oakwood; to promote sustainable practice spaces and replacement of infrastructure; and support our excellent public safety department. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarena, could you take a minute and introduce yourself and tell us why you'd like to run for Oakwood City Council?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate you organizing this for the candidates and for the community. My name is Sarena Kelley. I live in Oakwood, Ohio. I'm running for City Council. We moved here in 2015. We chose Dayton as kind of a random place on the map, and we fell in love with Oakwood immediately. The charm of the streets, the charm of the old houses. I love history and I love old architecture. So for me, Oakwood was the perfect place for us to settle down. Now we are on our 3rd home. We're way into architectural renovations and historic preservation. That's kind of been my forefront of my campaign and also who I am at the ethos of my person. I've worked with the Oakwood Historical Society, and I've volunteered with Rotary, Greater Dayton Communities, the Food Bank. Rotary has been a huge asset to the community, and I'm really grateful for everything that they do. And most importantly, the city of Oakwood. I've worked with the city of Oakwood for the last 10 years, and I'm incredibly passionate about what we have to offer, the community that gives so much back to everybody else. We are people who can give the shirt off each other's backs, and I just care so much about each other.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Leigh,
Yes.
could you please take a minute and introduce yourself and tell us why you're running for Oakwood City Council?
Thank you, Chris. But first, I can go by Leigh and not Leigh S. I'm not that formal, okay? Okay. Well, hi, my name is Leigh Turben, and I'm currently on Oakwood City Council. Oakwood has been my home for more than 35 years, and I have enjoyed every benefit here. I've demonstrated my commitment to Oakwood while serving nearly 3 decades on local boards and councils, from the Oakwood Historical Society to the Wright Memorial Library. And for the past 5 years, I have proudly served on Oakwood City Council. I am dedicated to preserving the Oakwood we treasure, its beauty, its services, its safety, and its spirit, while guiding it into the future. My vision includes maintaining those world-class services that we know, love, and trust, rekindling the spirit in our business district, ensuring a clean and safe water supply, and preserving those long-held traditions and strong sense of community that make Oakwood its home. Preserve today, prepare for tomorrow. That's my vision for Oakwood. Thank you.
Thank you, Leigh. Thank you. All right, so next we're going to offer the candidates a series of questions. Each candidate will answer each question and be given 2 minutes to respond. We're going to start with Sarena. Sarena, what do you see as the biggest challenges facing the city of Oakwood?
That's a great question. The city of Oakwood is actually a really great community. We've got great people, great infrastructure. The city employees are dedicated so much to our community. And so when we think about like what are our greatest challenges, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly one. But my vision and my campaign is more thinking directly into the deep future. So it's not just this year or next year. It's looking at how are we going to put policies in place that really keep the things that we love about Oakwood there forever. For me, it's historic preservation, maintaining the walkability. Of course, our shops of Oakwood and our business districts. How can we create long-term plans that identify with supporting our businesses, supporting green spaces and public spaces, so that we can really turn over Oakwood in a way that works for everyone now. I also see the current transition of all of our city employees. We've had so many people that dedicated themselves for decades, if not longer, to the city. They've done an incredible job, but now that we see this time of transition, it's an opportunity for us to make little changes, and change is inevitably going to come at this time. So I see that as we have a new city manager who is wonderful, new zoning code enforcer, new horticulturist that we currently don't have, a new director of leisure services. We need to make sure that we're putting the right people in the right place. And any change that we do have, we're doing it very thoughtfully and consciously so that we maintain Oakwood values. Thank you.
Thank you. Leigh, what do
Okay.
you see as the biggest challenges facing the city of Oakwood?
Yes, thank you, Chris. My two greatest concerns for Oakwood are water and cybersecurity. You know, Oakwood has good water today. We have 8 wells and they have ample capacity, and we have always passed all of the EPA requirements. But we do have to look to the future. Oakwood's water infrastructure is aging, and we have some pipes underground that are up to 100 years old. And to ensure clean and safe water, I believe that the only solution would be long-term systematic replacement of those pipes. You know, several residents have asked me, why don't we use Dayton water? And we can, and in fact we do, because they're our backup source for water. But think about this, if we import Dayton water, it has to run through those same old pipes. And so therefore, long-term systematic replacement of those lines and pipes is really the only sustainable solution. Cybersecurity. I mean, we are all aware of the threats of cybersecurity after living through the Kettering health attack. And sadly, local governments and municipalities have been attacked as well. There's Riverside, Huber Heights, Middletown. They've all had cyber attacks, and they've suffered compromising sensitive data, halting services, and costing them millions of dollars. While these events are part of a larger trend, it has prompted new cybersecurity laws in Ohio. Now, Oakwood is always updating cybersecurity, and it will be compliant. But still, experts tell me it's a matter of when and not if. I would like to propose a citizen-led committee devoted to cybersecurity. You know, Oakwood has hundreds of residents who already participate in city activities such like committees and councils. Why not dedicate one to cybersecurity and pick from the best and the brightest that Oakwood has to offer? And we have some pretty smart people here in Oakwood. Dedicate them to preserving the city that they know and they love. And
Thank you, Leigh. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Sam, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing the city of Oakwood?
It's hard to, I'm just really grateful, first, just to say that to be part of this forum where the challenges that are identified by my friends and neighbors I completely agree. These are all really important challenges. So I guess I have to pick a new one, right? I think the business community is in need of some assistance from the city. As I said, I've been going around to block parties and talking to people and the market and around town, and I always ask people like 2 questions, right? What do you love about Oakwood, and what would you like to see for the future? And I think I hear most people when I talk about when we ask them, what do you see as Oakwood's future? What do you see the challenges for the future is? They talk about that business community. A thriving Oakwood means a thriving business community, offering restaurants, services, and retail that meet the needs of the community. And we don't quite have that yet, right? There are a lot of empty storefronts in our business district. It's something that people really want to see changed because it helps improve the quality of life for everybody, and it raises the home values of our most important investment, which is for many of us here in Oakwood, our homes. So I feel like that is a really important challenge. I think I'm really glad that Leigh also talked about water. That is a huge challenge that's going to, hit the city. Hopefully later rather than sooner. But yes, we have 100-year-old pipes, and it's not just an issue of having Dayton water go through them. That could be a health issue, right? We do not want Oakwood to be the next Flint, Michigan, and having some of our having a different water chemistry going through our 100-year-old pipes and then impacting the health of Oakwood residents over the long term. And public safety is really key too. I was able to attend the Oakwood Citizens Police Academy. It's a 10-week, really fantastic experience where you really get to learn about all of the things that Oakwood Public Safety does. I learned a lot from them. And yes, cybersecurity is absolutely a huge issue, but making sure that our public safety officers have the resources, the knowledge, and the data to do their jobs to the absolute best of their ability.
Thank you so much, Sam. I appreciate your words. Now, our second question is going to go to Leigh. So Leigh, you're first on this one.
Okay.
What can the city council do to address housing needs in the city of Oakwood?
Housing needs. Okay. Well, that's a really good question. One of the problems or one of the concerns that we have in Oakwood is that we have an aging stock of homes, and most of the homes are two-story or more. And so today, as the population of Oakwood moves towards the senior years, they're looking for more one-story homes, and there really are very, very few of them. One of the things that we have considered is, there are some vacant properties in Oakwood, and we're considering building something for senior living so that those residents who have lived in Oakwood, raised their children here, and enjoyed it their whole life can now stay in Oakwood. Because to me, it's one of the saddest things when somebody has been there their whole life, raised their kids, and enjoyed all of the benefits, and they become seniors, and then they have to move away because we don't have a home for them. So like I said, one of the things that we are looking at down the road would be some kind of a community so that our seniors can stay here in Oakwood. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sam, what should the city council do to address housing needs in the city?
Great question. I think Leigh hit a lot of the really important things just talking to folks. Yeah, I mean, we have this fantastic array of city services. Folks are able to stay in Oakwood longer than perhaps other communities because we have city services plow the sidewalks of our homes, which make it easier for some seniors and other folks that might have mobility issues to live in their homes longer. This is great. But yes, I think we need to identify spaces and ways to create opportunities for seniors to stay in Oakwood. I also think, just talking to families, I mean, the cost of maintaining a historic home in Oakwood can and wanting to preserve its character is really expensive. So ways in which the city can continue partnering with not only the Oakwood Historical Society, but also helping think of cost-effective ways for folks to make their older homes more energy efficient and thus more livable, and increase the value of that home over time. So there could be ways that the city can help be a facilitator in creating spaces for citizens to install solar panels or install storm windows to help preserve the character of their homes and make them more energy efficient and make our city more sustainable for the future.
Thank you, Sam. Sarena, what should the city council do to address housing needs in the city of Oakwood?
Thank you, Chris. So this is a very complicated question because Oakwood is 97% landlocked, which means we don't have any room to grow. We don't have a lot of properties to tear down. We don't have a lot of areas that are vacant. So we're looking at like what limited land we have and what use are we going to use that for? We don't have a lot of commercial availability in the community. We have a few residential properties that still can be built on. So for me, the city council, there's 5 members that sit on city council, and it's important to have representation of all different demographics. So as Leigh discussed, the representation of the senior community. I'm a little bit younger. I have kids that are still in Oakwood schools. And it's, for me, really about the families, having representation on city council that has families and kids in school. How are the housing challenges affecting every single person in Oakwood? The difficulties of owning an old home is just endless. It's very costly. It's just takes a lot of resources, finding someone that's in the right trade. As I restore old homes and I do it myself, I see those challenges and I know how expensive it is. It's why I do the work myself. So I would love to have council have more programs of education, of resources, connecting individuals so that they can renovate their homes in a way that's efficient, that's sustainable, that's more cost effective. Just building that community sense of everyone together finding a solution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarena. All right, we're down to our last question. We're going to start with Sam. Sam, how do you see the role of city council in the city management form of government?
Great question. So we have a city manager form of government. So the city council, their job is to set policy, and the city manager's job is to oversee that policy. But I really think that the city council can and perhaps should do more, right? Now, I've served on a variety of nonprofit boards and collaborative governance structures that have that model. But I think a city council member should also be like the chief cheerleaders for the city, right? I believe that city council should be out where people are, right? I know a lot of city council members, have their cell phone numbers on their web page, on the city webpage, and their email, and folks are able to reach out at any time. But I also think that city council members need to be where people are, so they can hear from people, not just when there's a problem, right? And so that's one of the things that I would do, right? I'd be a cheerleader for Oakwood business. I'd be a cheerleader for Oakwood workers. I'd be a cheerleader for our community, work with realtors, work with everybody really to share what a great community we live in, why we love it, and how others can get involved. City council can also be the welcome mat to the city. I've worked really hard in Oakwood, founding Citizens for a Better Oakwood, hosting the Oakwood Pride picnic with my family, co-founding the Oakwood Inclusion Coalition to make sure that Oakwood stays a welcoming and vibrant city for everyone. And I think that's something that city council could absolutely also continue to do within the city manager structure of government.
Thank you very much. Sarena, same question. How do you see the role of the city council in the city management form of government?
So as Sam mentioned, having the way that our city is broken up, we've got 5 council members, and then out of that, there's one that's voted within council. Those 5 individuals decide who's going to be mayor. And in some cities, the mayor is like the forefront of doing all activity. But instead in Oakwood, we have a city manager. So the city manager isn't really in charge of those day-to-day, runnings and operations of the community. Now, I've worked closely with the city of Oakwood, the city manager, zoning code enforcer, city council, the planning commission. And I've then, as a resident, seen where I see spaces for improvement. When you're a community member and you have any type of issue, although like Sam said, you can go onto the website and you can text our council members, it is a great opportunity to reach out to them, but sometimes it's very scary to do so. So I see city council being an oversight for the city, working with the city manager, making sure that they have the tools and resources, but also allowing for more opportunity of how do we, like if we have an issue, how do we go onto the website? How do we reach out to the city manager? How do we say, hey, here's a concern that I have, without sounding like we're complaining, without feeling like we're going to be immediately, maybe shut down. I think a lot of people feel that way, and they don't realize that when you finally reach out to your city council members, they actually do really have your back. They want what's best for you. They're willing to have conversation. They're willing to have debate. So it's twofold: overseeing the city manager, making sure that city council is supporting the community and the city, and being like that liaison and the bridge between the two.
Thank you very much. Leigh, how do you see the role of city council in the city management form of government?
Well, thank you. First of all, Oakwood is a home rule city, and that means that we have actually more control over how we run our city, what officials' duties are for that, and it also helps us in setting new legislation. Now, primarily, the role of city council is to set legislation. But it's really up to the individual council member to determine their level of interaction with the citizens. Personally, I think citizen communication is the ultimate and one of the most important things that we do. After advocating for stronger city support for our business districts, I am proud to report that I am the chair of the new Business Districts Committee. And in a very short time, we've accomplished a great deal of things. We are working on a website. Well, it's actually a page to the city website where we're going to have a searchable directory of all of our businesses, and that can be found nowhere, anywhere. And I am extremely excited about a community business walk, which we've scheduled for September 25th. I didn't want to, as the chair of this committee, assume that I knew everything that our businesses wanted and needed. So we're going to have a business walk. We're going to call on every single business and ask them about their challenges, their opportunities, and ways that the city can better work with them. And I do believe that a council member working with the citizens is the most important job that we have. And ultimately, all of the council members just consider what is in the best interest of the citizens of Oakwood, and we work towards the goal of remaining a premier residential community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, now we're about to finish up. So I'd like to give each candidate a minute to offer any last thoughts that you might have and to close out our program today. We're going to start with Sarena.
Thank you, Chris. So what I have to say to the community is thank you for this opportunity to run for city council and potentially be a representative of all of you. What it comes down to is you have three incredible individuals that cared so deeply about our community. You have to make a choice, though. Unfortunately, there's only 2 seats open, and all you can do is get to know each and one of us, make sure that we align with your vision of Oakwood. We all have a little bit of different ideas. For me, I way into historic preservation. That's been a huge passion of mine, but making sure we're doing it in a way that pays homage to the past and the future. So having resources, education programs, that's really important to me. Transparency in government, but most importantly, you. I want to make sure that every citizen is represented and that we can build a better future and a better Oakwood for tomorrow and for the generations to come.
Thank you very much, Sarena. Leigh, you have a minute for a closing statement.
Okay, thank you very much, Chris. Well, first, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for this great opportunity. I love Oakwood, and I am committed to keeping it strong, safe, and connected both now and into the future. Preserve today, prepare for tomorrow. That's my vision for Oakwood. And I'll leave you with one last thought. As you cast your ballot on November 4th, please look at all the candidates and ask yourself who has already demonstrated their commitment to Oakwood, who has the background and the experience to handle the complex issues of city government, and who is the most qualified. And I hope one candidate comes to mind, Leigh Turben, and I am now asking for your support again. Please re-elect Leigh Turben for Oakwood City Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leigh. And finally, Sam Dorf, could you have a minute for a closing statement?
Thank you again to the League of Women Voters for everything you do in our community and for putting together this forum. And thank you, Sarena and Leigh, for participating and for bringing your wonderful selves to our community and to this election. So I've dedicated myself to serving Oakwood in a number of ways. I mentioned how I founded civic organizations, put together things that we'd never had in Oakwood before, like a family pride picnic, and served for and attended the Oakwood Citizens Police Academy. But I also have experience in other areas too, right? I've have experience managing really complex budgets at the university scale, running nonprofits, in collaborative governance, nonprofit leadership. And I also am running because Oakwood is a really special place. It's a place I love, right? And we're really at a critical juncture, as Sarena has mentioned, with new city manager, lots of new staff, right? And I'm ready to bring my deep experience, my energy, and my collaborative spirit to serve you all on City Council, working to ensure that Oakwood remains a vibrant, safe, and welcoming community for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today, and good luck with your campaigns. The League of Women Voters encourages all candidates to run an issues-oriented campaign. Our goal is to educate the voting public and to strengthen our elective political process. The annual Voters Guide will be distributed beginning the first week of October, and it will appear in the Dayton Daily News through AIM Media and be available at local libraries, schools, and businesses. The last day to register to vote in the general election is October 6th, and early voting for the upcoming election begins on October 7th. Remember that you can also request an absentee ballot from your Board of Elections. However you decide to vote, your opinion matters. It's up to you to make democracy work.